During the three-week war, almost 1,400 Palestinians died. That's according to the United Nations, along with 13 Israelis. Since the end of the war, there's been relative quiet, although the Israeli blockade of Gaza remains in place. But how deep a change do Israelis themselves believe the war has brought? Our Middle East correspondent Tim Franks reports from the southern town of Sderot.
This is something you didn't used to see in Sderot. Houses being built. Time was when the missiles were being fired much more frequently from Gaza into southern Israel. People were leaving this small town in their droves. Now that it's quieter, the mayor says there's a real estate boom.
We have 0 houses empty. The price of the houses more than doubled, and sometimes 40–50% higher. And a few cases, it's more than double the value of the houses. And now,
what, just since the end of the war?
Yeah, in this year.
Limor Aflalo came back to Sderot in July to rebuild her business as a beautician. She and her family had left 2 years before after a missile damaged their house. She still feels twitchy.
No, it doesn't feel safe at all. Because even in the night or in the morning when I take the children to school, I always have the same feeling that I'm going to hear the alarm right away, and I will always thinking where do I going to hide.
It was striking during the war, even as you drove away from Sderot to the parts of Israel where the missiles couldn't reach, just how solid support was for the offensive. But given what Israelis now know about the war a year on, about the high number of Palestinian casualties, about the contents of a deeply critical United Nations report, how far do Israelis still believe that this was a fight that had to be waged and one that brought the right result?
The answer in this upmarket area of Jerusalem appears to be yes, with reservations. In the words of one of Israel's leading political writers, many Israelis were disturbed by the bloodshed, but felt this was a war to demarcate its borders.
To the extent that after the war, the rockets that were coming over from Gaza, from Hamas in Gaza into Israel, virtually ceased, makes the war retrospectively into a success. And I say that again, without wanting to sound callous.
Most children in Sderot now don't think twice about playing outside. This year, far fewer missiles have been fired from Gaza into southern Israel than in previous years. But there's little sense here or across Israel of a conflict resolved. This, people say, is just a pause. Tim Franks, BBC News, Sderot.